This is topic C on page 135, using advanced chart features. Have you ever needed to graphically display two widely different sets of data simultaneously? For example, you may wish to show how unit sales correlate to overall sales totals within the same chart. It's likely that the figures for total sales are much higher than they are for the number of units sold. After all, many items cost far more than $1 these days. Putting both figures on the same chart would likely make at least one of the data series difficult to read. Or suppose you want to display future projections for your data sets on the same chart you display the data itself. Without the future data, how can you create chart elements that visually convey the information you wish to share? What if you have to create a lot of these charts? Does all of this mean a lot of extra data entry, calculation, and formatting? Fortunately, Excel includes a wide range of advanced charting features that enable you to display widely varying sets of data together, include forecasting trends on your charts, and reuse highly stylized or formatted charts again and again. It almost goes without saying that this level of functionality means you can quickly make an impact on nearly any presentation without having to put a lot of time and effort into doing so. So starting with a dual axis chart, and a dual axis chart is a chart that displays two sets of information on the same chart. The main advantage to dual axis charts is the ability to not only display two different sets of data simultaneously, but also to format the different sets of data independently of each other. This means you can make the various data series easily visually distinguishable from each other and display them within the same amount of space using different scales. So at the bottom of my summary worksheet, here I have quarter 1, 2, 3, and 4 sales. I have total sales and I have average quarter sales. So obviously my average quarter is much smaller in value than my total sales. Now if I wanted to display this information on the same chart, I can go up to my Insert tab, and in my Charts group, I can select my dialog box launcher. I'm going to go over to my All Charts tab, and here I have a combo chart. Now, if these two sets of information were using the same axis, total sales and average quarterly, so you can see total sales is represented by the blue bar, my blue column, and average quarter is represented by the orange line. Now my average quarter again is very small compared to my total sales. So these are they go around the $60,000 range. Now using the scale for total sales, you can see 60,000. It's going to be all the way down here, and you couldn't even see the change in the difference here. So using a combo chart like this, I could have two separate axes for my total sales and my average quarter. So here I have a secondary axis checkbox, and I want to indicate which one I want to use that secondary axis. So total sales already has my primary axis spot, so I can check off average quarter, and this uses a much better scaling system to see where my average quarter will dip and rise and kind of plateau here. So I have a better idea of the value of that based on my charting here. So the blue columns apply to my primary axis, that's total sales, and my average quarter line chart applies to my secondary axis that I checked off to specify. So I can click OK from here. Now I get a much better idea of how these two sets of data relate to each other, and I can do that on one individual chart here. I don't have to chart them separately. Now, in addition to creating secondary axes to display various data series or categories simultaneously, Excel also includes a chart feature that can help you forecast trends in your data. Forecasting is the process of using the trends that exist within past data to predict future outcomes. By its nature, forecasting can never be entirely accurate, as one can never precisely predict all possible future outcomes. As a general rule, the more you forecast out into the future, the less accurate your forecasts become. So if I was to go over to my chart elements button, here I have an option for trend line. I'm going to select my arrow, and when I choose the linear option, it's going to ask me which series I want to create a trend line from. So either my total sales in my blue columns or my average quarter using my orange line. I'm going to create one for my total sales and click OK. Now what this does, the linear option, it's just a straight line that shows the trend. So it shows a very slight increase going over the 4 quarters. Even though it dipped in quarter 2, it's going to stay linear, straight line, no up and down here. So that's trending, and I can actually forecast this into the future in order to predict what future quarters will be for my total sales. So to do that, I would go to, I want to make sure my chart's selected. I would go to my Format Contextual tab. I want to choose the drop down for my chart elements. And here I have my series total sales trend line that I just created. I'm going to select that and hit my Format Selection command. Remember, this will open up my Format Trend Line task pane. So you can see the different types of trend lines here. Exponential kind of goes straight, and it's a very quick increase. Linear, straight line. You have logarithmic, polynomial, will kind of be up and down here. Power, moving average. So if I scroll down, I actually have a forecast section, and I can input how far into the future I want to forecast, and I can also choose if I want to forecast backwards, back in time, before quarter 1. So if I wanted to go 2 periods into the future, and our periods are quarters here, type in 2, press enter, and it's going to extend that trend line into the future for me. So that is going 2 periods or 2 quarters into the future. All right, so that is an example of forecasting. I can close out my
Your next video will be activity 4.3 on page 139.